massive game in the Eastern Conference tonight. Number 1, number 8. Welcome to Slugger Field, where tonight Louisville City's steamrolling offense set to take on the number 8 seed at the present moment, Orlando City B. Fans on their way in, so glad you could be with us tonight. Mike Watts alongside Lee Godfrey. And when you look at Orlando City B, they're missing a lot of their big names, but Jordan Schweitzer as a player is going to have to play a big role if they want to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's been a player that joined them at the beginning of this year, a homegrown product out of the Seattle Sounders system, also been capped at the Canadian U23 level, and a former member of the University of Denver. 1 goal in 17 appearances this year. He'll be that attacking midfielder tonight.
He'll be the focus, especially without Haji Berry in the lineup. On the other side for Louisville, it doesn't matter who you plug in right now. Everybody is scoring.
Yeah, we just can't go with one player on this Louisville attack. It has just been potent as of late. 20 goals in the last 5 games, 13 in the last 3 with only 1 conceded. And there you see that man, number 19, Oscar Jimenez, has been responsible for a lot of that, as setting up these dead ball situations with 5 assists on the season.
So Louisville's offense moving as well as it has all year. 5-0 win in the midweek against Harrisburg in the USL Game of the Week. Here's the starting lineup for Orlando City B. Changes. There's only 4 returning starters from their last game.
Yeah, a little bit down the depth chart tonight with the big club playing against the Vancouver Whitecaps tonight in Orlando. Jake Fennelson in goal, only his 2nd appearance of the year. Some familiar faces with PC at left back, Timbo and Lewis Neal. And there you see your strikers in De Silva and Cox up top.
On the other side, Louisville City, they always make a few changes. In this case, Spencer on for Illich, Williams out, Gaia Bend is back.
Yeah, Gaia Ben back as well. Niall McCabe getting the start tonight. Brian Ownby not in that starting 11. And you do see with a suspension as well at the back line. 3 at the back with Morad Reynolds and Tosh.
And Greg Ranjetsing gets the calling goal for Louisville City. First in the Eastern Conference. Finally, they've risen atop the table. On the other side for Orlando, 10 consecutive games unbeaten. If they're going to do it on the road, it's without some of their key players. The action coming up.
Ever wish your allergies would go away fast? You can stop wishing. Because at Family Allergy and Asthma, we can end your symptoms in as little as 2 days with Rush Allergy Shots. It's the fastest route to relief, and our doctors offer it. Call now.
The most important financial decisions aren't made in banks. They're made around kitchen tables and on porch swings. They're made over dinner and over coffee by real people trying to do the right thing for their families, today and in the days to come. We understand that. In fact, it's the reason we're here. We're Main Source, and we want to be a great bank for you.
I had an idea in my mind of where I wanted to be. I had attended a semester prior to joining the military, and I knew I always had a passion for computers. The fastest way for me to get there was through a certificate program at Sullivan University. Currently, I'm a security engineer at Farm Credit Mid-America, and I'm also an instructor at Sullivan University. By bringing my professional experience into the classroom, my students gain real-world knowledge. For me, I'm still learning in my career and from my students. You really never leave the classroom. It follows you everywhere.
When you live in one of the worst areas in the nation for allergies, you need access to the best allergy care. Family Allergy and Asthma has led the way for more than 35 years, helping patients throughout the region find relief. Call today and end your suffering for good.
The heat is hot. You should have some adult beverages when you go with the heat.
We come here pretty much every Friday now. We've been here several times and we love it.
Everything is fantastic, sides and all.
Chicken and waffles, it's excellent. It's the best place you can get it.
It's so hot, you actually get a buzz from eating this. You come get takeout that tastes like something you cook at home. That's what keeps me coming back.
Minutes from kickoff as the Coopers and the associated supporters groups of Louisville City have all piled in for the city, they say. Louisville City, Orlando City B set to kick off 1-8 in the Eastern Conference. Mike Watts, Lee Godfrey back with you. Anthony Pulis is the head man for Orlando City B. This is his 2nd year at the helm, retired after 2014, having played 3 years with the franchise at the USL level. going up against a former teammate in James O'Connor. And we're underway. The white jerseys of Orlando City B against the purple kits of Louisville City. Welcome to the show. The USL rocks on into this weekend matchup.
Well, the start will be very interesting tonight, as there are a lot of young players out there for Orlando City B, but just the way that Louisville has played at home as of late has just been absolutely dominating, the way that they have taken care of business at home through the tutelage of that man right there.
James O'Connor at the helm, helping to bring this Orlando City side into MLS not too long ago. This portion of tonight's broadcast is presented by Plainview Apartments, the official housing partner of Louisville City. They got a chance to go down there, game number 2 of the season, to that new stadium in Orlando. And the pride from James O'Connor going there, having played in much larger, less soccer-specific venues previous in Orlando. You could really tell how proud he was and how he thinks maybe in 2020 in the Butchertown neighborhood he's going to be christening another stadium with Louisville City.
Yeah, and you know what? Judging by the support that Louisville has had this year, you know, in selling out crowds and getting upwards of 8, 9, 10,000 at a game in Louisville, it's just been fantastic, and they're one of the main reasons why at least Louisville and their supporters are of why this league has already surpassed the 1.5 million mark in fans across the league, and they'll get over the 2 million mark, I would think, by the end of this season.
It's Pierre De Silva, #1 player in the USL's 20 under 20, USLsoccer.com earlier this year. Crossfield pass bypassing Schweitzer. Brought down by Rafael Ramos. Off into the corner and out of the reach of Austin Martz.
Ranjetsingh will get the goal kick tonight. 12 appearances and 5 clean sheets on the season. He's come up big in quite a few games this season here at home, and one of the reasons why there is only 1 loss at home on the season here at Slugger Field.
He's backstopped the 2 5-0 wins at Slugger Field in the last week and a half against Cincinnati. Of course, that game will live down in that rivalry for a long time, and then Harrisburg in the midweek.
Harrisburg struggling a little bit, but I was shocked working that game, the 5-0 win against Cincinnati, that it was that one-sided with the big rivalry, traveling supporters from Cincy coming out, and really, I guess at that point still Cincinnati trying to put that behind them and focusing on, I think it was the US Open Cup still, if they're involved in that, and you know, maybe putting that one on the back burner. But either way, now you have to focus on the league, and they need to get some results to stay where they are in the table.
Ramos throws in and gets the return ball. They fell to New York Red Bulls 3-2 in extra time in the Open Cup just a couple of days later, about 72 hours after falling 5-0 to Louisville, and then they went and got spanked again at Red Bulls 2 on the weekend. So Cincinnati trying to figure things out while Louisville City sits pretty atop the Eastern Conference. Mark Anthony Kay finds Niall McCabe, who did score in the most recent game against Harrisburg. Jimenez, whose brilliance now is really beginning to show through with all the assists that he's piled up. Tosh, Kay, and taken away by Donovan.
Mark Anthony Kay appears to be playing more on that right-hand side tonight, where we've seen him more with the Canadian national team and with Louisville on the left. And Niall McCabe coming over to play on that left-hand side tonight.
Meanwhile, elsewhere in the USL's Eastern Conference, one of the Martinez brothers has scored in the 21st minute. And Charlotte ahead of Toronto, 1-0. Ball played out in front. It's a great save by Ranjetsingh as Cox let it right in. And then contact against George Davis. It's a foul. Back to Louisville City. Looked like Ramos on the overlap. Came flying in.
Oh, good start here by Orlando City B, and there you see the ball coming into the box, and it is Martz that gets in behind the defender, and there you see Ranjetsingh sliding out to get a piece of that.
And Martz pressuring again, this time away by Morad. And Tosh. McCabe, Spencer, who's scoring a goal every 104 minutes. Mark Anthony Kay trying to lob Jake Fenlison, who's making just his second USL start for Orlando City B this season and his third in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, that was one that just got away with Mark Anthony Kay. You did see a couple of other players coming in at the top of the 18-yard box, a cutback there. That may have been a little bit more advisable, but you know, Mark Anthony Kay's just grown so much as a player this season, and getting those national team call-ups, he's had a lot of confidence going forward. So I don't mind with the way that things are going for Louisville right now that, you know, allow that player to have a little bit more breathing room and be a little bit more creative and try a couple more things if it's not going to hurt your team.
Jimenez skips back to Fenlison, the product of the University of Akron. Went to back-to-back Final Fours under Caleb Porter. Of course, now leads Portland Timbers. McCabe couldn't keep it against the pressure of Ramos, and the switching ball from Schweitzer falls short. There's George Davis, who missed 4 games, returned against Harrisburg on the midweek. Tosh, Davis, playing more of a holding mid position, getting much further up the field there in the 7th minute. Sometimes this Louisville lineup is a bit of a box of chocolates. You really don't know what you're going to get. And tonight it was Davis as a holding midfielder against Orlando City B side that brought just 4 starters back from their most recent game. They haven't fallen since June against Ottawa.
And that's what has to be the most frustrating thing for a coach that is directly involved with an MLS club. And I've talked to other coaches in that same position, and it is very difficult, and some of the big learning curves. And Anthony Poulos said at the beginning of the season, you just can't get frustrated by the things that you can't control, and that is one of them, is player selection and who you're going to have game in and game out. You have to just be able to do your best with the players that you do have when you get that final word of who the big team is going to take or keep in for the game. And of course they are in Orlando tonight against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and so more opportunity that is for the other players on the roster for OCB.
Contact from Timbo. Lest we forget that Swope Park Rangers and New York Red Bulls 2 won their conference championships last year, both MLS affiliated USL teams. Louisville City falling in the East on those penalty kicks. Right now, Red Bulls in a similar position in the standings as OCB. They've got some work to do down the stretch. Leading ball, Kay continues on. Donovan put that out for a corner. And meanwhile, Siage has scored for Charlotte. They're up 2-0 on Toronto, so it appears Louisville's going to need to try and pick up 3 points to hold atop the Eastern Conference tonight.
Yeah, and that's, you know, when you look at those games on this schedule, those are the ones that, you know, when you look at Toronto FC down at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, that a team like Charlotte should beat, and that's why this game is even more important for Louisville.
Jimenez nodded out. Ramos had a great first touch. Winds it up the near touchline. Jaime Siage, the Spanish player, getting on the board there. His 2nd goal of the season, as McCabe will wait to throw. Of course, Toronto just drew Charlotte last week, and Toronto beat Charleston 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, so nobody's safe.
Yeah, on any given day, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's why you just can't underestimate some of these teams, and you have to respect them, but still play your style of game in and game out.
Davis lines it off of Seb Hines. Donovan just got on the wrong side of the flag. It's another corner for Louisville City in the 10th going on the 11th minute.
And now we see Louisville settling in a little bit more into their game after that quick start by Orlando City B. Over a full 90 minutes, this is what we're accustomed to. Jimenez again with the out-swinging right foot.
6
and
goals.
He's going to walk away, I think, to allow
Paulo Del Piccolo to move over,
yeah, and take with the left foot in-swinger instead.
6 goals in the last 4 games on set pieces for Louisville City. Del Piccolo, Fenlison at the highest point, yanking it down.
That one floated a little bit for Del Piccolo. And Fenlison's able to come out and be able to grab that one. No one really causing him too much danger right in the middle of that 6-yard box.
Fenlison, who's found himself second on the depth chart. McCabe, well, he tried to chip it over as Spencer forced the turnover. Wasn't quite able to do so. That was nearly a massive mistake.
Well, good job by Spencer, but I think McCabe had a little bit more time there, and he just rushed it and took it on the first touch to try to get that over top of Fenlison, which he was way out of his goal, so that's not the problem, but just too much on that from McCabe. He may have been able to take 1 or 2 more touches there and just get around Jake Fenlison and slot it in the open net.
Now McCabe looking for 2 in as many games. Player down was Guy at Bend, and the foul was called against Schweitzer, the former Seattle man. Came over in the offseason. Bend wants to restart. Kellen Radisav is the referee tonight. Nate Haggerty is the assistant on the near touchline. Justin Gilkey on the far. And Joshua Brooks, 4th official this evening. Not that they've had an oversized role yet. Jimenez swings that in. Cleared as far as Del Piccolo, who started with Evan Speedy Williams in the most recent game in holding midfield, but operates with Guy at Bend this evening. There is a Bend, the Israeli, up the line. Kay shrugged off the ball. And the clearance come off. It belongs to Louisville. Trying to go at PC again, starting at the left back position, the Brazilian. Saw PC a bit with Tampa Bay last year.
Yeah, not too often. That was an interesting trade, really just a money deal there with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and he was always more of a thorn in the side as a member of the Strikers for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and came over for the remainder of the season, but really came off the bench on a couple of occasions. Didn't really have an opportunity with the Rowdies, and took it with Orlando City B when he was able to sign, hoping to get more minutes.
Cox is down for Orlando City B. Hasn't scored yet this year. He scored 11 times last year to lead the team. There's pushing and shoving. Timbo going into Sean Reynolds. Still discussions being had. Seb Hines speaking to Niall McCabe. A yellow card's coming. Reynolds will get both the explanation and the caution.
Well, interesting. This might show a little bit more on the angle, but I'm not sure that really. He's not going into it to injure the player whatsoever. Sean Reynolds looked like he got a piece of the ball, but just getting a tiny bit of that leg is enough to get the card. But yeah, this early in the game, I thought it would just be still a talking to and not a caution at this point. But you do see that it is starting to get a little bit heated out there, Mike, and you want to keep that game under control and not being able to have to stop and start and show yellows every time there's a challenge out there.
Kay was dispossessed on his long run. Timbo trying to unlock Cox. Cox shoots. He scores. It's his first of the year. And OCB scores in the 15th minute.
Well, that is just an incredible run by Michael Cox. He just put on the afterburners here, and you can see him just blowing around Morad, and he's able to unleash the right foot, and it goes off that back post and gets the right angle and goes over the goal line to give OCB that early lead. A fantastic run by Michael Cox.
11 goals last year, and in nearly 700 minutes, he hadn't scored yet this season. And you really couldn't tell why by how classy that finish was.
So this is something that Louisville City is not very accustomed to, is going down here at home. Orlando City B has had a little bit of a pep in their step, and now it's going to be up to Louisville to see how they react to being down here early.
Haven't trailed in 285 minutes till this point. And they're on the wrong end of a 1-0 score line at Slugger Field after a quarter of an hour. These teams played one of the great games of 2016. It went the OCB way in Orlando. 2 stoppage time goals. Tyler Turner scored the first in stoppage, the second from Smith, and it was a 2-1 result in favor of Orlando City B after Niall McCabe had scored the first goal of that affair. Cox's first of the year, 12th in the last 2. Ranjetsingh up the right-hand side to Toch. This portion of tonight's broadcast presented by one of Louisville City's official partners, Sullivan University. Welcome to the Sullivan family from the folks at Louisville City. Glad to have you as part of the broadcast. Bouncing back toward Reynolds, who started the year on a 3-match ban that carried over from last year, and that was just his first yellow card of the season. Timbo went Timber. McCabe popped up. Luke Spencer gives chase, brings it down. Slid in hard on Donovan.
Well, this is going to get interesting because that was a very hard tackle. The 2-foot sliding in with the studs up, and let's have another look at this. Spencer's coming in, and watch this coming in. Now he gets the ball, but it's still dangerous. He literally jumps up, gets up into the air, does Donovan, and it actually goes the way of Orlando City B. So an interesting call there.
Spencer trying to speed by PC. A throw to Louisville City. Davis turned it over to Lewis Neal. And a throw to PC, whose name is actually Victor Gyro. Just so happened that when he was at Corinthians as an academy player, he looked like a player named Pablo Cesar. So PC forever, I suppose. Attack on now. De Silva tapping through left-hand side, back by Toch. Ranjetsingh has to slice it out of play. A bit more danger than he was looking for there.
Yeah, a little bit of pace to that ball for sure. And Greg Ranjetsingh had to deal with that, and you just had to get it into touch and avoid any danger. PC to throw the ball, and I guess there could be worse names that, you know, would stick in a lifetime, you know?
You must be a Windows guy. You a PC or a Mac guy?
I got my iPad here. I'm iPhone guy, so.
You just don't mesh with PC, do you?
No, friends have told me I'm certainly not politically correct, so if you want to go that route too.
What are you talking about? You're Canadian. Contact there. Spencer goes down. Seb Hines, the guilty party there.
And here's where we've seen Jimenez has been so strong on these sort of dead balls and free kicks from this area.
Five assists this year for Jimenez. McCabe. Jimenez. Fenlison back into his net and watch it carry over the bar.
Yeah, and Jimenez getting underneath that one. Good play, though, to be able to win the ball back off that free kick, push it out wide again. So it's just getting that quality that we've seen so much from Louisville in the final third over the last few home games, especially the last three, with a 5-0 victory, a 3-1 victory, that one was on the road actually, and then the last time out here another 5-0 victory. So the goals have been coming massive at home, and you would think it's only a matter of time before it happens again tonight, but certainly Orlando City B are putting up a pretty good little fight. It's been a feisty game to start.
Davis gliding into the corner. Cleared away before the touch from Mark Anthony Kay arrived by Donovan.
Good clearance there by Donovan. It was a good run up that right-hand side, and Louisville had numbers going forward into the box, and that was a must clear for Connor Donovan. Jimenez again from the corner, and this time he is going to use the left foot.
Jimenez in swinger toward a bend who got wrapped up and brought down, and then the foul is Schweitzer. Made contact in midair.
You see a Bend having a word as well, and he's absolutely right. He was bear hugged in the box, and you know, would he have gotten to a ball? I'm not sure, but look at him there being taken down. I believe that was, is that De Silva that was back there?
The wraparound there, yeah. Update elsewhere. Maybe more important for Orlando, the way the standings break down. Pittsburgh goals from Jamal Jack and Corey Herzog. 2-1 lead over Bethlehem at halftime. Louisville trailing 1-0. Cox the goal scorer thus far in game 2 of a 3-game homestand. This fired by De Silva. Easy enough for Anjetsing.
Job right now, Orlando City B really playing high and closing down, and that's caused this turnover. Great defense by OCB.
Mart's the final mark. Pass by Ramos. Throw for Jimenez. Seb Hines getting a touch to it. Jimenez on the USL Team of the Week, and why not? Morad switches the field. Tosh pokes it ahead. Davis arriving again. Bouncing ball cleared by Donovan. Only as far as Tosh. Davis, the Canadian K on the turn away from Timbo. Tosh brought down by PC. The attack on still. Jimenez! Swung it wide. Didn't get that nearly as cleanly as he had hoped.
Oh, some good build up there by Louisville. The one thing that they need to work on a little better are those initial balls into the box. They've been pretty low, and the defenders have been able to deal with it there. And this time you see, instead of Mark-Anthony Kaye deciding to have a go at goal, he pushes across the top of the box to Jimenez, and his right-footed shot is always curling outside of that near post.
Morad puts it into play. Charleston trailing Richmond at halftime. Who knew the Kickers had 2 goals in them and a half? Number 15 in the East trying to knock off number 3 and give Louisville City a bit more breathing room in the top 2, as that leads too far.
Yeah, not only that, but the Tampa Bay Rowdies would love to see a lot of results up top go the opposite way tonight, especially because they are on a bye week. So all those teams that have games in hand, depending on the results, can really factor in to the Rowdies, who have to go out on the road as well for a few games, and they have not been able to get the points on the road this season. So this is a very crucial point in time in their season, especially if they want to host a home playoff game. That's where it's getting down to for them.
It's a bit unique. I don't think there's any team more than Tampa Bay who needs home field advantage in the playoffs. Louisville has certainly done some extraordinary things with their home field this year. Just 1 loss. Cox attacking again. Cox has scored twice. He's been waiting all year, and he pulls out all the stops for OCB at Louisville. 2-0.
Orlando City goal.
What an incredible start so far by OCB. Louisville defenders just not closing down Michael Cox, so he sees a couple of feet in front of him, and he decides to let one rip. And here he is this time coming down the left, and it is with the left foot, and he just rips that one there as Sean Reynolds is just standing beside him watching it all go down, and that one just gets across Ranjitsingh for a 2-0 lead. Incredible.
Louisville last conceded 2+ against Charlotte, the 3-1 loss. All of a sudden, Louisville City on upset alert a bit here. Orlando City B, we talked about it. They're a young team, fresh legs, a lot of changes to their lineup, and yet still a lot of talent, including guys who have played MLS minutes this year, as Schweitzer went in hard. Kay, slip ball for McCabe, off it back to Tosh. 2 goals in half an hour from Michael Cox, who did score against Louisville City last year. This the 5th all-time meeting with Louisville leading with 3 wins to Louisville's 1. Rather, Orlando's 1. Too far for Jimenez.
It just proves that, you know, Tony Poulos, or Anthony Poulos rather, giving a lot of players, because he has forced to, really, an opportunity to get minutes, and they're making the most of it. Even though the possession arrow favors Louisville right now, for sure, and that's to be expected at home. It's been on those counterattacks that Orlando City B has made the most of them.
It's PC for De Silva, out of his reach. 30th minute, 2-0 to Orlando City B. Goals 12 minutes apart from Michael Cox, the 15th and the 27th. Louisville City has scored 20 goals over their last 5 games. Their last 6, rather. Attack on for Louisville City. Ball crossed towards Spencer, headed out. And a corner for Louisville City at the half-hour mark.
Now, all started. That was some great work by Mark-Anthony Kaye to steal that ball in his own half and make that run, and then be able to get that across into the box. And it was Seb Hines there to be able to stop that from getting into the 6 in behind him, where Louisville was waiting to pounce on it.
Jimenez, high arcing out swinger. McKay pulls away from Schweitzer. Drops back to Davis. Spins over to Jimenez. Took a deflection toward the byline. Fenlison did keep that in.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate tonight for Louisville City. Despite the amount of corners they've had, they've all been at that top left-hand side of your screen and not really the strong point for Jimenez. He'd much rather have them be at the bottom left of your screen to be able to throw the right-footed in-swinger into the box with a little more power. He's really floated the last two ones up there and really not given an opportunity for Louisville to come in and really attack that ball into the box.
What have you liked from Orlando City B so far in this game?
I think both sides of the ball, where they've done well and finished on their counterattacks, and as well, you know they've got to absorb that pressure. They're losing possession, and they've had some great clearances on some strong balls into the box by both Connor Donovan and Seb Hines. The two center backs out there tonight have been able to, do their job when called upon and not, have Jake Fenlinson have to come up with something. I think the communication has been well back there so far, despite the, amount of minutes. And you think about how many times Orlando City B and this group of 11 have played, if at ever, this season.
I think it was John Wallenick who told me a week and a half ago that they have played 22 different lineups in 22 games to that point.
And right now, to have that 10-game unbeaten run with that sort of turnover in your lineup is a credit to the players that are going out there and giving it their all. And the coaching as well, to be able to tactically put in one player, take out another, and still have it work as a system that they're trying to implement at that club.
Comes down to Guy at Bend. Couldn't slip it away from Cox, who drove in to Del Piccolo. It's Ramos putting on some nice moves there, the man from Portugal. Contact from Paulo Del Piccolo, and University of Louisville product is guilty of the foul.
I think right now Louisville has to just be a little bit better on trying to connect some passes together in OCB's half. They've been so good before. We've seen Jimenez, we've seen Anthony Kay making those runs, Brian Ombie in previous games really controlling things, setting things up, which really opens stuff up in the box for your attacking players. And right now, those players that are headed into the box, one, haven't either been able to get open, or again, it's a credit to Orlando City B's ability to get there first.
Luke Spencer pulling away, didn't factor into the Harrisburg game at all. Thought maybe he'd be available off the bench, but up 4-0 in the final 10 minutes. He never made an appearance in that affair. Del Piccolo finding Tosh. Davis returns. Oscar Jimenez goes to work on Martz. It's a throw to Louisville City, 34th minute.
See the amount of players, Mike, that Orlando City B is putting behind that ball, especially on that back line. Sometimes there are 6 players in white lined up along that 18-yard box, making it very difficult to go through the middle.
Davis deflected back. And come to think of it, it looked like that before they scored the 2 goals too. Does appear the game plan.
You don't want to switch your game plan altogether, but certainly sometimes being a little bit more direct balls over the top and force those defenders to make a mistake.
Lined in, headed right to Fenlison. Niall McCabe, the diving effort. And Louisville in the 35th minute can't pull one back. It's their first deficit of 2 or more goals going back to that game against July 15th, where the 11-month home unbeaten streak came to a conclusion. It's the only loss for Louisville in the last 13 months at Slugger Field.
And that's certainly the best opportunity to have for Louisville. A nice ball into the box, a good diving header. But Fenlison was right there. Need to get that a little more on his left or right, or drive it down into the ground and get a bounce right in front of him and make it difficult for him.
Davis tried to continue on. Pierre De Silva, the guilty party, and not a bad ball from Tosh either.
Yeah, no, a fantastic ball in, and there you see McCabe diving into that one, and again, just right where Fenlison was standing. But that is a product. That's a pretty long ball into the box. That's what you need to try a little bit more of. Try to find those spaces in between the back four, or what really is a back 5 or 6 when they don't have the ball.
Will it be Del Piccolo on the right or Jimenez on the left? Jimenez, driven header, skips wide. It belongs to Louisville City, a corner against the consistent and continuing disagreement from OCB.
We'll have another look to see if they're right here as this ball comes down.
Is that off a bend?
Probably arguing that it was off of a bend. But again, the 5th corner for Louisville, you want to be able to score off of set pieces, and they have so far in the past.
Jimenez directly over the 6, contact there. Over the shoulder kick, falls back to George Davis. Headed, and that's wide from Sean Tosh.
And very fortunate that Tosh couldn't get up and on that one, because really Jake Fenlison came way out. He was outside of that 6-yard box there, and he was caught in no man's land. If that would have been directed towards goal, that is a 1 back for Louisville.
15th, 27th. Michael Cox has scored twice, having not scored all year coming in. Team that's playing without a couple of their biggest scorers in the lineup tonight. No Haji Berry, who scored 5 of the previous 6 goals going back to August the 5th for Orlando City B. Spencer, that's contact, and the guilty party is Jordan Schweitzer. And Schweitzer in the face of the official.
This has been one of the things that's been an issue for Orlando City and Orlando City B, is discipline. They get very hot very quick. You saw Anthony Poulos on the up and off the bench, and that's just a foul, and that's something that Luke Spencer's very good at. He feels that contact, and he's going to play that one up, and certainly that's a free kick. And Schweitzer's fortunate that he doesn't see a yellow as well for his arguing after the fact.
We've seen Cameron Lancaster score free kicks from here. We know Jimenez and Del Piccolo are strong in this position. Will they put Fenlison directly to the test in the 39th minute to try and pull one back? Del Piccolo lifts it over the top, headed back across. The flag was up for offside. You bring it in from the training ground and you don't execute.
Yeah, no, exactly right there. That was completely mistimed. A bit of hesitation there on the free kick, and everybody in purple was going forward a little bit too fast there, a little bit too eager to try to get up on that one, and it was really, I think, floated a little too much up there. I don't think if it was actually onside, you could put much on that ball to begin with. As Del Piccolo, you know, would probably love to have that one back again.
A bit surprised from that position that they didn't aim for goal.
Yeah, you know, or send one low on the ground and think the wall might jump up and get one through, or you know, shoulder somebody out of the way to make some space in that wall.
Played through by PC, too far for Lewis Neal. The captain's armband strapped to his bicep yet again. And maybe if Cameron Lancaster is in the game, that is what you do, but it does feel like Fenlison, who's only making his third career USL start for OCB. So being tested. McCabe, here's a test. Step back. Okay, couldn't get the shot away. Serve toward the box. Headed only as far as now McCabe. Back into the corner. Davis. Davis was looking for Jimenez. Still alive. Schweitzer serves it out. Kept in by Morad. Better from Louisville. Tosh. Snap down. Jimenez. Back to Morad. The pressure continues from Lou City. Kay. Tosh has served from that area previous. A bend. Del Piccolo away from Cox. Back to Reynolds. Tosh up the line. This has been the favored side for Louisville City. Mark Anthony Kay spins. Ball poked away. De Silva nearly got it back. Davis falls. Jimenez well over the bar.
Well, the best bit of sustained pressure so far in this game by Louisville, but just unable to get anything in the middle. They're continually pushing that ball outside, especially to the right. And Davis, the fourth, getting that initial one in, and there you see Jimenez just diving in and missing that. The best chance on that part. Mark Anthony Kay getting the ball on a couple of occasions and just maybe trying to do a little bit too much on his own. He needs to put his head up and find out who's coming into the box and making a run and try to spot them out with the ball. And there you saw that second opportunity by Jimenez, and he just got underneath that one at the top of the box and sailed it over the bar.
Del Piccolo. Jimenez. Skips out. News elsewhere in the USL's Eastern Conference. St. Louis falls to Rochester at home. 2 goals as Jimenez. That was entirely unintentional. And yet still a discussion being had from Rafael Ramos.
That was pretty funny, actually.
We had a great view of it. I don't usually suggest intent one way or another.
No, that wasn't at all. He just wasn't even looking for the ball coming at him.
It was actually supposed to be good sportsmanship.
Yeah. Normally you're told just to not even give the ball to the other team and just leave it there for them, so.
Fenlison kicks it out. Here's last time someone tried to throw the ball to an opponent. Hey, let me help you out here.
You see Rafael Ramos not even looking that way, completely unintentional.
Ripped upfield. Cox is going to continue to run on, and it's pulled down by the Trinidad and Tobago international, Canadian-born Greg Ranjetsing.
Yeah, that's something they have to be aware of. You saw Sean Reynolds tracking back there because Michael Cox has got a lot of speed, and we've seen that in this first half with his 2 goals, especially on the first one.
PC puts it out. CK to LOU. Oscar Jimenez goes back to work.
James O'Connor would like to get one here. Go into the half just down by 1.
Jimenez, outswinger, looking for Spencer. Karam's wide. Schweitzer out to midfield.
Again, just another corner, just floated in there. And yeah, Louisville might have got the first touch, but you're never going to get any power on that one. Even if they come running in, it's not going to make too much of a problem for Orlando City B.
Tosh stepping by the defense. Del Piccolo. Chip ball into the corner. Flag is up for offside. And George Davis, a thumbs up. He actually seems to agree with that call.
From our angle here, it didn't appear to me that he had enough speed going to be able to be offside there. I thought that Orlando City had plenty of bodies back and far enough that that flag wasn't going to go up. I don't think he was going to get to that anyways, regardless, but 2 minutes here for Louisville to try to get something on the board and regroup and go into the second half and analyze what Orlando City have been doing, especially defensively. How can you get by all those bodies that they're putting back along the 18-yard box to the 6? As they were just lining up 6 and 7 players, and it's been difficult to find anybody open when you're getting those balls wide and sending them into the box.
Headed along. Comes down for Luke Spencer. Donovan, the initial defender. Lewis Neal in the area as well. PC eventually got it away and does so again. Another giant crowd in Louisville tonight. Top 3 in the league in attendance this year. Kay turns. Try to play Davis off of Kay. It's a goal kick with about a minute to play in the opening half. Louisville 5 wins in their last 6 games. They've taken 15 points in that span. It's the most of any USL team in their last 6. Allowed more goals tonight than they did in the 3 previous games combined. Michael Cox, great individual efforts, 2 great goals. Orlando City B out in front. Louisville City on a picture-perfect 80-degree night in Kentucky. Tosh up the line. Davis, can Louisville get one back before halftime? The turn by Kay. Donovan puts it out, and they'll let the corner play out here.
I think it's a hesitation, Mike, when they're coming forward and on that right-hand side, and when George Davis, the 4th, or if it's Mark Anthony Kay, and he stops, that just kills the momentum of the players running into the box, and it allows Orlando City B to pick up a man and make sure they're always marked.
Another corner. Del Piccolo bounces down. Flag is up for offside, and that'll do it. Halftime at Slugger Field. This is a bit of a surprise in truth. Orlando City B in the 8th spot in the East, trying to put an upset over on a team that's only lost once at home in the last 13 months.
It has been a bit of a shocker, that is for sure, and you can see that in the fans. They've pretty much been silent here at Slugger Field after 45 minutes of play. We'll have to see how they react and regroup and come out in the second.
Cox hasn't been good. He's been great. His first 2 goals of the season. Orlando City B pulling out in front in the 15th minute. An excellent finish slotted by Ranjetsingh, and a rocket into side netting in the 27th. Highlights and stats when we return.
Ever wish your allergies would go away fast? You can stop wishing. Because at Family Allergy and Asthma, we can end your symptoms in as little as 2 days with Rush Allergy Shots. It's the fastest route to relief, and our doctors offer it. Call now.
The most important financial decisions aren't made in banks. They're made around kitchen tables and on porch swings. They're made over dinner and over coffee by real people trying to do the right thing for their families, today and in the days to come. We understand that. In fact, it's the reason we're here. We're Main Source, and we want to be a great bank for you.
When you live in one of the worst areas in the nation for allergies, you need access to the best allergy care. Family Allergy and Asthma has led the way for more than 35 years, helping patients throughout the region find relief. Call today and end your suffering for good.
I had an idea in my mind of where I wanted to be. I had attended a semester prior to joining the military, and I knew I always had a passion for computers. The fastest way for me to get there was through a certificate program at Sullivan University. Currently, I'm a security engineer at Farm Credit Mid-America, and I'm also an instructor at Sullivan University. By bringing my professional experience into the classroom, my students gain real-world knowledge. For me, I'm still learning in my career and from my students. You really never leave the classroom. It follows you everywhere.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips.
Halftime at Slugger Field. Fans off the concession stands, if only for a moment. Gorgeous night for the beautiful game. Game 2 of a 3-game homestand in OCB. And 2-0. Mike Watts back here with you alongside Lee Godfrey. Here are the halftime statistics. Possession, Louisville, and they've got more shots, but OCB with Michael Cox took advantage of their 2 best chances.
Yeah, they certainly did. The 2 goals there on the side of OCB is the biggest and most important stat that they have there. One that we don't have listed here is obviously corner kicks, and that is where Louisville has dominated but not been able to have really any good quality corner kicks off that, which is surprising because of how they played in previous games, the success they've had off of set pieces. They need to be better in that area in the second half to be able to get back on the board.
The corners are 7-0 for Louisville City. Meanwhile, our thoughts go out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey. We've seen the tragic images over the past 24 hours. The USL encourages fans to donate to the American Red Cross, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation. Thoughts with everybody in South Texas right now. As meanwhile here, Louisville City trailing 2-0. We'll have highlights and send you around the United Soccer League. All when we come back. OCB has the advantage over number 1, Lou City, at the half.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
SAFC forward AJ Ajekwa, who was born in the U.S., went to boarding school in Cameroon for a year at the age of 13. The life lessons he learned there helped him overcome once being cut from his high school team to turning soccer into a career.
When I came back to the States is when a couple of my friends told me, oh, try out for the high school team. Went out to the high school tryout and probably lasted about 30 seconds. And the head coach goes, all right, he lines the whole team up and he goes, AJ to the middle. He kicks the ball up and I probably missed it like 3 or 4 times. And then he goes, get out. I didn't make the high school soccer team until my junior year. Being the competitive person I was, just playing basketball and stuff, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this team. So I just kept pushing and working. I mean, like my work ethic is just everything to me. My mom always said, like, hard work, hard work, hard work. You know, if you want to make it in life, if you want to make it in the society, you have to work.
And with that hard work, AJ went on to play collegiately at Chico State, where he realized he wanted to further his soccer career.
So I told my mom, I was like, yo, Mom, I'm gonna finish school, but I wanna go to Europe. She goes, if you buy your ticket, you can go. And next thing you know, I bought a one-way ticket to England, and I was gone. When I was in England, I mean, I tried so many teams. I contacted probably like 4 or 5 teams in like different leagues, trying to get an opportunity. And then Biggleswade United gave me an opportunity to play for their U23 team, which I'm really grateful for. They gave me a call to their first team, and on my debut game, it was an FA Cup match, and I scored 2 goals, and it was just like, my head just went from there. And I was like, yes, this is the relief I need.
After a successful season with Biggleswade United, Ajekwa returned home to the States, where he went on trial with LA2 and soon after signed with Orange County. Now, AJ finds himself here in San Antonio.
Going through what I went through just helped me become the person I am today. I'm still growing today, so I still make mistakes, but I'm not the type of person to make the same mistake twice. I'm a better person, I feel like, just being open-minded to a lot of things and being optimistic. Like life as it comes, you grow through what you go through.
Halftime, what a brilliant flowery shirt. That's not Brad Canfield, that's a Louisville City fan. OCB 2-0 up at halftime. Meanwhile, the ESPN3 game of the week last week, a 5-0 win for Lou City over Harrisburg. And Wednesday, September 6th, Phoenix Orange County at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. It's big for both teams.
Someone has to get 3 points here. A draw doesn't help out either team here. Orange County still yet to win in their new stadium. They've got to go on the road. And Phoenix Rising, both of these teams battling from the outside looking in. This is going to be a very important match.
Late goals in the final 5 minutes or stoppage time. In each of the 2 previous meetings of that game, there may be a lot of drama left to be had here at Slugger Field. 2-0 OCB at the half. Highlights when we return as Louisville City trailing through 45.
Ever wish your allergies would go away fast? You can stop wishing. Because at Family Allergy and Asthma, we can end your symptoms in as little as 2 days with Rush Allergy Shots. It's the fastest route to relief, and our doctors offer it. Call now.
The most important financial decisions aren't made in banks. They're made around kitchen tables and on porch swings. They're made over dinner and over coffee by real people trying to do the right thing for their families, today and in the days to come. We understand that. In fact, it's the reason we're here. We're Main Source, and we want to be a great bank for you.
When you live in one of the worst areas in the nation for allergies, you need access to the best allergy care. Family Allergy and Asthma has led the way for more than 35 years, helping patients throughout the region find relief. Call today and end your suffering for good.
I had an idea in my mind of where I wanted to be. I had attended a semester prior to joining the military, and I knew I always had a passion for computers. The fastest way for me to get there was through a certificate program at Sullivan University. Currently, I'm a security engineer at Farm Credit Mid-America, and I'm also an instructor at Sullivan University. By bringing my professional experience into the classroom, my students gain real-world knowledge. For me, I'm still learning in my career and from my students. You really never leave the classroom. It follows you.
Box combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing, and we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking? Love in the window. Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
4th Street downtown.
Back at halftime, Orlando City B through Michael Cox has a 2-0 lead over Louisville City. Mike Watsley Godfrey back with you, and as the fans wait for the second half to return, we take you through our first half highlights from Slugger Field as Louisville City falling behind in the 15th minute to Orlando City B. Michael Cox, a good opportunity in front. Martz was denied here by Ranjit Singh.
Yeah, Ranjit Singh doing a good job there coming off of his line, or it could be a little bit more of a score line right now. Here's an early opportunity. One of the only ones is McCabe is able to get that turnover, but he lost that one over the bar. He may have had a little bit more time here. He did have Hines coming in and closing him down, but here's the first goal. Michael Cox just blowing around Morad. And what a goal that is. The right foot across the base of the goal, hitting that back post and going in to give Orlando City B the 1-0 lead.
Rather nonchalant from Cox. He scored 11 times last year, top 10 in the league. That's his first goal of 2017. This from Oscar Jimenez off target.
And he's had a few of those actually in the first half. And then the second, once again, look at that ball getting through. That should never get through that back line right now. And then it's Cox again, and he just unleashes the left foot, this time across the other side of the face of goal. And he gets his second of the game, and shockingly, it's 2-0 OCB.
That through 27 minutes, a diving header from McCabe. May have been their best look in the first half.
Yeah, it may have been, and it's too bad because he's diving. That's really, I think, all he could do on that play is just get something on it. Jimenez just missing that cross right there, and certainly George Davis had that nice ball into the box, but the ball just has not been bouncing the way in the first 45 for Louisville City.
Here's the upcoming schedule for Orlando City B. They are in 8th right now, and they'll host Bethlehem, ahead of them in the standings, then Richmond, who are at the bottom right now, and then they go on the road. Richmond also coming up at the start of October. There's a good chance here to get some points.
Yeah, there certainly is, with 3 home games in your next 5 games, and 2 of those games against the Richmond Kickers. You know, not to take anything away against them tonight, because they were able to get a couple on the board tonight. So certainly, though, an opportunity to stay within that top 8.
Meanwhile, Louisville City, 5 home games remaining in their season. They'll play 3 of them in the next 4. Charleston right now struggling in their game this evening. However, still 3rd in the Eastern Conference at Pittsburgh. Always tough to play at Highmark. And then Bethlehem, Rochester. These are all teams in or around the playoffs.
Yeah, they are, and they're all playing well right now. You know, when you look at Bethlehem, you look at the Rochester Rhinos, and even don't discount the Ottawa Fury. You know, Julian de Guzman taking over as head coach. They should have probably got a victory against the Rowdies in St. Petersburg this past weekend. So they are a team that has gotten some results at home this year as well.
Meanwhile, the Eastern Conference standings are currently as they would be if current results hold. Charlotte with 3 points tonight if they finish off Toronto FC, and Louisville, if they do end up falling to Orlando City B, will have 2 games difference in the games remaining column and a 3-point deficit, which isn't really that far to overcome. Meanwhile, in the West, most of that action is yet to kick off. Real Monarchs 10 points clear of their nearest competition. Swope Park has made a run up the standings. Sacramento is playing Phoenix tonight. Phoenix just outside that top 10. Of course, the top 8 will make the playoffs when it's all said and done. Meanwhile, on USLsoccer.com, here are the power rankings. Louisville City, when you've scored 13 goals in the last 3 games, you're going to move pretty far up there.
Yeah, you are for the previous week's play, and we'll have to see after next week how that changes a little bit with the result tonight. But if Louisville City could come back and have a massive comeback and pop 3 in the goal, I'm sure they'd stay right there as well.
Albert Dikwa is waiting to come on. He stepped onto the field now, so he will play here in the second half for Orlando City B. He's a fine goal scorer, 3 on the year, but his last coming May 28th against the Independents of Charlotte. Orlando City B side that did not bring Haji Berry on the road. Their leading goal scorer with 8, taken 13th overall by Orlando in the 2016 draft. Dikwa, on the other hand, 19 years old from Cameroon. They signed out of the Monteverde Academy in Florida. Louisville City looks to keep with the same 11. And you would think coming out of the locker room, they have an intention of coming out and taking it right to Orlando City.
Yeah, I have a feeling that James O'Connor probably had a few words with the boys at the halftime for sure. And we should see a different side with a little more intensity in this second half.
Here it is. Davis curled it wide. Hands on face. Knew it immediately. He's looking for a deflection. It's not one he's going to get. As this portion of tonight's broadcast and George Davis's near goal presented by Plainview Apartments, the official housing partner of Louisville City.
He replaced number 99,
Michael Cox comes out.
Also, Louisville City.
Well, that was a good 45 minutes.
In the game, number 10, Ryan Oldby. He replaces number 7.
Well, here's a look at this one. This one's always going away from the goal. He was looking at the top back corner there, and he just did not get it.
Meanwhile, Brian McCabe has come on for Louisville and comes on for Mark Anthony Kay. So Dequa and Ownby, the changes at halftime, one for either side.
I actually thought that Mark Anthony Kay got involved more than McCabe.
Ownby cuts it across. Can't get there, Spencer.
Yeah, he just whiffed at that one. He had it for sure, but he just didn't get all of his foot on it. It looked like he just miffed on it a little bit here. As that ball does get back out. Great job to use his head to get the ball back out in front of him. And then you see there, he's just hit it too much far over to his left-hand side. And Spencer wasn't there on that back post either, but certainly seems to be a little bit of a different change of atmosphere as far as Louisville putting on the pressure here early in the second half.
Tosh nods it ahead. Ownby gives chase. Ownby came on, a substitution that was brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Ryan Ownby's beard still pretty gnarly and deserving of its billing on USLsoccer.com to be among the best beards in the league.
Fear the beard.
Usually it's the goalkeepers. They don't have to do all the running. Ownby has to live with that thing. It comes to the well-manicured facial hair of Greg Ranjetsing. I think Cody Lorendi from Oklahoma City certainly has a fantastic beard.
And of course, number 18, Matt Pickens of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, in on that group as well.
Backup goalkeeper for San Antonio has a nice trim as well. The things you talk about in week 22. At deflects, Ranjetsing's got it. Michael Cox out. Right at halftime, having scored both goals, Pierre De Silva. And a bend is the guilty party here.
He doesn't like that call, but the first one didn't get called on George Davis as De Silva gets through one and then tries to do the spinorama on the second, and a bend is called on the foul.
Sent aside by Hines. Spencer wouldn't take it away for Louisville City. PC to throw. Bypassing the Brazilian. Here comes Neal. Neal looking for Dequa. And Jetsing arrives. Davis trying to expose the right flank. Has the runner in Ownby. Takes it himself. Slipped through. Spencer tripped up a bit.
Yeah, you saw that the way I saw it as well. Mike, he needed to push that ball much earlier through to Ownby making the run, and when he did, there was nobody there for Louisville City in the box.
Dequa overran it. Well handled by Tosh with De Silva bearing down. Orlando, a 10-game unbeaten streak. They've only won 3 of those games, though. They had a stretch of 6 consecutive draws in that span. They're up 2-0 at Slugger Field in Louisville for the #1 team coming into the weekend in the Eastern Conference. Ownby cutting toward the corner, and a throw for Louisville City. Further uproar from PC. Ownby seemed to toss that in against the will of the near side AR.
It's like, get out of the way.
Here comes Ownby. Spencer may have touched that. Maybe he didn't. Either way, it slid out another throw. If he did, it wasn't much of a touch. A bend. Skips off of McCabe. Schweitzer still backing up. Neal. And Reynolds heads it out of play to keep Dequa from the breakaway.
You can see there's a lot more purpose in the passing so far in this second half by Louisville City. They just seem to be one little, and they're getting the ball inside more. That's what I like. They were using the outside flanks and just trying to whip in balls and not getting anywhere. And now they're taking that pass inside the box at the top of the 18 and really splitting apart the defense or having them to make a decision where they're going to go. So I think that's the thing that they spotted in James O'Connor in making a tactical shift to, you know, get that, don't run all the way to the end. Get that ball inside earlier.
De Silva all the way to the byline, kicked out by Brian Ownby, who returned from an illness most recently, also had a bit of a muscle strain. And you have to argue that Brian Ownby, a big part of that as well. Not to take anything away from what Mark Anthony Kaye did or didn't do in the first half, but Ownby really has seemed to put a spark into this match on the near side touchline.
Yeah, that's the type of hustle that he brings to all the games that he does get into. He's been numerous times of USL Team of the Week and in my mind been man of the match on many occasions when he hasn't got on the score sheet.
Ball lined in, headed, it's in the net. Orlando City B makes it 3. And the goal belongs to Timbo, his second of the season, silencing the crowd in Louisville in the 53rd minute.
That is just incredible. There you see, I believe it's PC taking the corner kick, and Timbo is unmarked at the backside of the 6-yard box. It gets over top of a couple of players, including Sean Tosh. And it's just an easy direction for Timbo into the goal. And after that bit of pressure at the beginning of the second half by Louisville, it's Orlando City B that adds another one. Is that their first corner kick of the night or their second, and they have a goal on it? I believe it's their first corner. And you figure with all the corners that Louisville had in the first half and not able to do anything with it, Orlando gets one down at that same end of the pitch that Louisville had 8, I believe, in that first half, and they get one in the back of the net.
Well, this has a chance to really put some shockwaves around the league should the result hold. It's a real showstopper for a Louisville offense that has been outright dominant over the last 3 weeks. Spencer didn't get there in time, but the pressure allows the header for Davis. Spencer, Davis, purple jerseys pulling into the box. Tosh over Ownby, bounces through. McCabe shielded out by the defender Rafael Ramos, who's been with the club all the way back to their final year in the USL as Orlando City Soccer Club in 2014. Orlando City B from 2011 to 2014, one of the best teams in the USL. They had as good a start as any pro soccer club in the United States. 66 wins in their first 100 matches. They won 3 regular season titles. Then they won 2 USL Cup finals, including a 4-goal performance from Dom Dwyer, who started with Orlando City, moved on to Kansas City, became a star all the way up to the United States men's national team, and now back into the OCSC fold in the MLS level. And you've been a part of some of these rivalry matches with the Rowdies and Orlando City and Orlando City B. There's always a little extra blood there too.
Oh, there certainly is. It's a fantastic rivalry, and that's one that I would hope someday carries on into Major League Soccer. The supporters group that travels both directions in the I-4 Derby has been fantastic. So that's just something I think they can build on.
Davis deflected. Fenlison got a touch. It appeared to be winding wide. A corner for Louisville City on the way. George Davis trying to take matters into his own hands.
Presented by Raising Cane's.
So this right now to me is one of the big differences in the games. You have to capitalize on these corner kicks. Orlando City B has, and Louisville has yet to.
Jimenez, it's the 8th time the charm, snapped wide. It was as good a look as they've had. It was Paulo Del Piccolo. And while we have a moment, the hurricane that's currently in South Texas, RGV was on the road, so it doesn't affect them. However, did affect both the Dash and the Dynamo.
Entering the match, number 14.
Our thoughts with them. It's a change. Illich coming on for Luke Spencer. It's a substitution that's brought to you by Great Clips. Louisville City, they hope this substitution is going to be great.
Number 9, Cameron Lancaster.
And Luke Spencer coming off. Van Cameron Lancaster will come on. It's a substitution that's brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Deflected backward. An update elsewhere. My goodness. Toronto has taken the lead against Charlotte into the 82nd minute.
That's incredible.
Didn't see that coming.
That's a big favor right now for Louisville City fans watching tonight.
Our producer tonight is Brian Duval, keeping tabs on the rest of the East, and let us know that that one was going to be a shocker. 3 unanswered. How about that?
Well, and right now it's all 3 subs used pretty early for Louisville City in this second half, and I think that's part and parcel of the score line right now, and James O'Connor trying to inject something into this team and getting on some fresh legs and hoping that it makes a difference. Ownby now with some space on that right-hand side.
Ownby continues to work on Timbo's got the 3rd goal for Orlando City B. Drops all the way to Tosh. Headed down by Ownby, who was in an offside position.
He doesn't like the call, but that's what Louisville City is going to have to start doing. Is you don't like to go the direct route or down number 1, but they need to start putting balls, longer balls, into the top of the 18-yard box and forcing Orlando City B to deal with them, and hope that Louisville can win that first ball. And it's the second one that's going to be important, bringing it down and getting on to the end of it, making sure someone's in behind the initial ball sent in and head it backwards for somebody trailing for a shot at goal, because they are putting so many bodies back in white right now. It's just being so difficult to get through.
Morad got a touch. Martz continuing. Schweitzer on the ground. Stabbed away by Toach. Schweitzer plays it back. Martz a shot. Knotted down in a bend. Saw the update there. Kevin Kerr has scored for Pittsburgh. It's now 3-2 in favor of the Riverhounds, who are ahead for Orlando City B at the present moment. Rather just behind. Bethlehem ahead of them. And so that could be a significant result should Orlando finish this out. Over the last half hour, they could potentially close that gap. Team that made the playoffs last year, Orlando City B, but they were nowhere near the number 7 seed. Ownby continues on. Ownby cuts it across. Looking for Illich. Davis. A bend, service, headed off the post. It didn't go in for Lancaster. Lancaster scored in the opening half an hour against Orlando City B and then got injured in the first meeting in March. and this time has it ricochet over the goal line.
Well, there's a bend with the ball into the box, and how this one stays out. How it doesn't go across and hit the other post and go in, that is incredible.
Running along the top of it, there's the corner, headed wide by a bend. Or was it? It's another corner. Another one where it looked like a bend touched it. Maybe we can get a better look.
No, I believe right there. Yeah, it was off of OCB. And here we go.
Service, back post. Rising up was Tosh. The turn by Ombi. Illich still going to the byline. Arms extended for everybody. A goal kick.
Oh, and this time it's Louisville City who's not going to be pleased with this at all, and why it's not another corner. They all assumed right away that it was. As we take another look at this, as the ball's bouncing around in the box like a pinball machine, and right there, you know what? Is this eventually touched by PC? I don't think so this time. I think that was the right call.
This portion of tonight's broadcast presented by official partner Sullivan University.
Well, it's the opposite tonight for the big team for Orlando City. They're losing at home right now to the Vancouver Whitecaps 2-0. So a tale of two different teams here tonight, with OCB winning on the road and the MLS side losing on the road, or at home rather.
Zach Ellis Hayden waiting to come on. The Canadian played his college ball at Cleveland State, steps in. And enough for PC. That was just start number 5 for him. It's a substitution that's brought to you by Great Clips. It's gonna be great. Ellis Hayden immediately on the spot. Run over by Cameron Lancaster. Zach Ellis Hayden operate basically every position in the back four. Played with Kitchener-Waterloo United in the PDL previously.
Would you believe me if I told you I lived in that city from kindergarten to grade 5?
Why do you think I brought it up?
Kitchener, Ontario, about 45 minutes outside of Toronto.
This is a long run here. And last touched by Jimenez, who by his effort turned this into a throw. This time Ramos was waiting for the ball to come his way rather than having it knock off the noggin. We've seen Davis find room here previously. Davis is clipped out by Illich, Ownby, and Hayden. The bend, Davis. Guy bend on the give and go with Ownby, sending it over the top. A deflection off of Ramos, a corner to Louisville as they try and climb back into this one.
Louisville City corner kick presented by Racing Chains.
Jimenez, high arcing, a bend, a header this time. Finlayson made the save.
Well, he just made sure that was not going in. He put that over the bar himself, even if it was.
Jimenez again. This time it's held by Finlayson. Well, that was his most busy 20 seconds of the night by a wide margin.
Yeah, here is that first one that he just gets over, and I believe that may have come in just under the bar. And then the second one, boy, he just got his fingertips to hold on to that one.
Hayden met by Davis, the former Richmond kicker. Pulis is going berserk on the near touchline. Davis need to back up. Anthony Pulis' dad, of course, the legendary head coach Tony Pulis with West Brom.
They have a game tomorrow in the EPL against Stoke City.
Like father, like son. Off of Village. Almost allows it out, a throw. The Welsh-born head coach of Orlando City B finished his playing career in Orlando. Martz showing off explosive speed.
Good job there on that right-hand side, and that's all that Sean Reynolds could do, was to keep up with him to be able to save that ball from going across the face of goal. And this is what we're possibly going to see the last 24 minutes plus stoppage time, with Louisville trailing by 3. It's going to open things up in Orlando City B's favor.
De Silva, swinger won by Ombi. Ramos all the way to the touch. Ramos, a Benfica academy player with Sporting in Portugal as well. The final elsewhere, Richmond is knocked off the battery. 3 goals in their last 5 matches, and they dropped 3 here tonight. Knock off a battery team that has just 1 win in their last 9.
Yeah, they all started to go downhill for the Charleston Battery when Mario Williams left to go to the Gold Cup, and they really haven't recovered since.
He had that amazing goal in Phoenix. Was it against Canada?
Yeah, I believe it was. That would be the second goal. Yeah, he got the game-winning goal in that match to send them through to the semifinal.
Where Mario Williams and co. knocked off Mexico by Kamar Lawrence's goal. Dequa is offside. United States, of course, winning Gold Cup this year, 2017, knocking off Mexico in the final. Jordan Morris, the go-to goal scorer, and of course Dom Dwyer's big coming out party with the U.S. men's national team. Maybe the best story the USL has to offer at the national team level. Pardon, it was Jamaica in the final. Jamaica and Mexico in the semi at the Rose Bowl. There you go.
It was that long free kick goal by Jamaica that beat out Mexico.
Kamar Lawrence, the New York Red Bulls player.
And Jamaica made a game of that final, that's for sure. Coming back and tying that one 1-1 after all, who I thought the MVP of the tournament was the Jamaican keeper, who had to leave that game early.
Andre Blake needing stitches to the hand and just recently returning to the Union. Hayden looking to throw.
Yeah, and you already see the time that they're taking. They'll take whatever they can get. If it's a 10 seconds on a throw-in, slowing down. Any goal kicks, as you see, there's a little bit more urgency on the other end of the pitch with Greg Ranjetsingh.
Ranjetsingh lining it downfield. Louisville won't lose ground tonight, that they know. They're in first. At night's end, Ombi. Snap back. A Piccolo effort falls to a bend. 3 goals in a 7-minute span for Toronto FC. 2, who of course were hampered as much as any team in the USL by Gold Cup with all the call-ups to MLS because of all the missing players for TFC. Davis serves it across. Again, a bit off the mark, which seems to be the story of the night.
Yeah, sometimes you just have one of those, a bad day at the office where things just don't seem to go your way. And despite generating opportunities, controlling most of the possession in this game, and you think you're doing all the right things, and then the other side just makes 1 or 2 quick little plays and you find yourself down, and you kind of look around and say, what just happened there? And it puts you in a bit of a shock, especially on the first 2 goals, and then Louisville comes out and has a really good start to the second half.
Davis down in pain. A bend slips it through. Donovan is able to keep Lancaster away. And Fenlison holding the ball right on the end line. Donovan is down for Orlando City.
Congratulations.
And Davis is slow to get up.
Daniel Buchanan.
Oh, and that is Zach Ellis-Hayden going in, and the cleats do get pretty high and up and hit George Davis the fourth. And this is the problem now, that as he did look to be in quite a bit of pain, he's going to have to walk that one off, as Louisville don't have any more substitutions to use tonight.
Davis returning from a minor knee injury after a month-long layoff against Harrisburg in the midweek. A bit shocking how well Louisville played with both Ownby and Davis on the shelf. This is a nice pass. Jimenez did not challenge Fenlison in the end.
And that's rushing things just a little bit too much there, where he had the speed going up that left-hand side. Made a nice cut back in, and then didn't see probably anybody coming in on that right-hand side to be able to push it off to, so instead he tries to go at goal, but it certainly is a tough effort. He wasn't able to get much on it, and it didn't even get on target to force Fenlison to make a save.
De Silva blasted by Davis. De Silva, an 18-year-old U.S. youth international who signed with Orlando City as a homegrown last year. 19 now, out of Port Chester, New York. And again, De Silva goes down, and this time Davis shown a yellow card for what would likely be an accumulation of fouls.
The referee has issued a Chevy yellow card to Louisville City's number 22, George Davis.
Yeah, here we see just a little tug and grab, and it's enough. At this time, the official has seen enough, as De Silva is still down on the pitch. And this is classic time wasting now from OCB, as they want to take these full 3 points on the road tonight.
Louisville yet to be shut out at Slugger Field this year. They've only lost here once in the past 13 months. For Davis, that's his 5th yellow card. So it appears he'll be out for the next. That ball lined across. Open header back across the face of goal. Davis will bring it down off the free kick by Ramos. Lancaster, Ownby, blaring by. Can they switch the field? They can't. Martz arriving in the nick of time. As that promising attack pittered out yet, there's still room all the way back to Tosh. Illich. Off of Neal. That'll stay in play, or did it? Fenlison appealing. It's a corner, and they play quickly. Illich, Davis. Davis headed off the crossbar, and the bicycle kick is held by Fenlison. It was a band who tried the final effort. Louisville City must feel a bit snake-bitten tonight.
Yeah, they can't buy a goal tonight, and that is proof of it. Good ball in by Davis, and going up and getting that one. Couldn't quite see who that was.
Change coming. Zach Carroll will come on.
City B substitution. Entering the match, number 71, Zach Carroll,
who played with New York Red Bulls 2 last year. Rafael Ramos will come out. Carroll started against Louisville City in the conference final last year. It's a substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Carroll was with Red Bull's first team going into May, but then Orlando City traded Aurélien Collin up to New York. They needed to cut somebody. It ended up being Zach Carroll, who went to Red Bulls 2 for the year and then eventually signs on to play a part with OCB after the offseason. Once off the post, once off the crossbar. Could the top three in the Eastern Conference all go down tonight? Charlotte and Charleston have already appeared to have done their part. The other side of that is no one picks up ground on Louisville.
Yeah, no one picks up ground, and the one team with the bye and the Tampa Bay Rowdies don't lose any ground on teams. That's great results if they all hold right now for that side.
Louisville still have a couple games in hand on teams 2 and 3, as well as the Rowdies at 4.
Yep.
Del Piccolo. Jimenez. Stretch pass. Too far for Lancaster. And while we have a moment, our thoughts and prayers are going out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey tonight. The USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation. MLS and NWSL both needing to push back the games in Houston. Supposed to be played today.
San Antonio as well, having their game postponed
all the way to October. RGV was set to be out of town. De Silva has turned the corner. De Silva off of Reynolds. Scary stuff. Some of those images really chilling. Hopefully fans do take part in that. The American Red Cross in the recovery as it's picked up by Fenlison. Fenlison's made a couple saves, but let's not forget that the crossbar and the post has done him as many favors as he's done himself.
Yeah, it could seriously be a different 10 minutes in stoppage time if he doesn't thank his post and crossbar tonight. It could be 3-2 right now with Louisville City trying to at least get a tie and possibly, you know, nick a late one as well. You know, so it's certainly a game of bounces, a game of inches, and one that has favored Orlando City B tonight.
Louisville did score 3 in about 15 or 16 minutes in midweek against Harrisburg. And Toronto did score 3 tonight in a 7-minute span, but Orlando City B still seems the team handling this lead in good fashion with 10 minutes plus to play.
And give credit where credit's due. Their goals tonight have all been very well executed goals. Hawks' first 2 were incredible. And I think that the marking may have been a little bit poor on the 3rd goal in the box by Louisville, but still a good ball into the box and a good finish. Not much that Greg Ranjitsingh could do on those 3 goals.
Reynolds wins a throw for Louisville City. Attendance tonight over 8,000, just a hair shy of the season average, which is above 9,000 on the year for Louisville City. Slugger Field. '81st minute for Orlando. They take on Bethlehem, a chance to move up the standings. They already Picked up 3 points on them tonight. Meanwhile, Louisville taking on Charleston Battery on September 2nd. That game airs in Louisville on WBNA. And of course, the University of Louisville are playing that night. So if you want to see Lamar, you can do that. Just come to the Lou City game first, and then you can see the Cardinals play. A bend, slide tackle, yellow card on the way. A bend back to his feet, and despite a grimace, wants to move as quickly as he can. Maybe there's still something to be had here. Got to give the ref a moment to write some things down here.
Here's a look at why a bend is favoring that and grimacing, just catching his ankle.
Jimenez headed over to El Piccolo. The referee set a pick. Hayden got a touch, but there's Davis. Del Piccolo serves over the top. It's headed by his own player and nearly in. It was nearly for Zach Carroll, but Fenlinson there.
Best save of the night by Fenlinson, and it's on his own player.
Morad. Jimenez cuts it back. Tosh arriving and out for a goal kick in favor of Orlando. Fenlinson didn't think Carroll would take this shot, did he?
No, he's waiting for Ownby to get ahead on that. But boy, Zach Carroll had the perfect position on the inside of Ownby if Ownby was a defender. And he gets all of that one and forces Jake Fenlinson to come up with a beautiful save. Boy, that would have been interesting if that went in to get Louisville back into this one.
Corners now a staggering 14-2. And yet the game ain't won on paper. Two brilliant shots by Michael Cox, the 15th and the 27th. Fine finish from Timbo in the 53rd. Fenlinson will pick it up with Illich tiptoeing in. And Orlando City appears poised for an 11th consecutive match without a loss. It would be their 4th in that span and a 6th win away from home. They're going to be 6-4-4 if they finish this out away from Orlando City Soccer Stadium.
That's incredible.
I mentioned it earlier. There are teams that need home field advantage. If you're Orlando, you might want to hang in that 6 or 7 seed. That's not a bad place to be. Last year, sent out of the playoffs in short order by Red Bulls too. Both these teams were. Louisville falling in the conference final. Orlando City be the number 8 seed. Which is precisely where these teams stood up at the beginning of the evening. Louisville will not fall out of first with this result. Davis slid away before Lancaster got a touch. Another corner for Louisville. How about number 15? You've scored 20 in the last 6. Maybe this was bound to happen. Davis get a second bite at the apple. This in the run of play.
And the fact that your coaches have said you've had a good first half. You can have a rest now. You know, to bring in another body, and you play the 45 minutes of play, and you scored 2 goals. Not a bad night.
No, Michael Cox, who's scoreless coming into the game this year. Ball for Illich headed out. Has burst onto the scene again. He did score against Louisville last year. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Ottawa and New York Red Bulls 2. Shot fired by Lancaster. Sliding in was Tosh. Orlando's going to host 3 of their next 4. Legitimate chances to pick up results in each of them when you really look at the standings and the schedule they face. De Silva, Tosh. They'll allow play to continue. De Silva went down a bit too easily. I think he's being warned not to go down that easily again.
I don't think Anthony Poulos agrees with that. He's trying to get around the outside, and yes, he did probably just feel the contact there and went down. I've seen that called before.
Slide in from George Davis. He commits the foul. Hey, fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on USL Coast to Coast, Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. And don't forget, Sirius XM FC airs the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for all the dates and times. Well, it's a weekend of upsets in the USL's Eastern Conference. Top 3 go down, and the 4th didn't play. Bethlehem, I believe, is still occupying the number 5 spot. They fall to Pittsburgh. Lancaster. Lancaster service again. That's behind Illich. Lewis Neal picking up play. First goal in Orlando City history belongs to Lewis Neal. Knocked away from the halftime substitute, Albert Dequa.
Good play, though, there by Pierre De Silva. Or was that Dequa? Was in the corner?
Mm-hmm.
That's classic time wasting there. He didn't have any effort at goal. Just take that ball to the corner flag and allow the other team to try to do something with it, and in the end, it's a throw in to Orlando City B, as it is again. So this is just taking seconds and minutes off the clock.
Back to Timbo, the 3rd goal for OCB, off his head in the 53rd minute. Off into the corner goes Lewis Neal, who started his career at Stoke. Goes down, tempers flaring. Lewis Neal being held away from Oscar Jimenez. Only the second of 2 meetings this year between the clubs. Oscar Jimenez has picked up his 3rd yellow card of the year in the scuffle.
And that's just pure frustration, just coming in from behind and kicking feet out from underneath Lewis Neal. Orlando City would just be better off to walk away from that, and you see the time that that foul committed is going to take off the clock.
Timbo, 3rd card of the year for Jimenez, so he's still not quite near a yellow card accumulation suspension. Neal getting pushed away by Ownby. That continues on. There's a fan who's standing behind the referee showing a red card. It surely doesn't matter in the referee's mind, that's for sure. Neal at the center of it again.
Yeah, and my problem with Neal here is, was he of the pitch when he was getting in the face of Brian Ownby? I know Neal's not happy that Brian Ownby decided to go up another 10-15 yards to where the throw-in should be, but have a look at Neal's feet. He is completely, at the first point in time when he pushes Brian Ownby, he's not even on the field to play. So in my mind, Neal should certainly be shown a yellow card there. And he is, and rightly so. And Neal doesn't have a leg to stand on here as far as what he's trying to say. He's the one that got right in the face of Brian Ownby, was not even on the field of play, not allowing Ownby to throw that ball back in. He's got to keep his temper down. If Ownby's up 10-15 yards too far, that's the official's job to send him back and throw the ball in where it should be. It's not up to Lewis Neal, so a deserved yellow card there.
Neil captaining the side again, having played in MLS with DC United and with Orlando City when they first arrived from the USL.
The clock is past 90 minutes. Official time.
4 minutes of added time. Dequa into the run of De Silva. De Silva stepping by. Tosh won the ball.
De Silva probably should have had that on the first touch with his left foot, and this could be 4-0 right now for Orlando City, but he decides to try to cut it back before taking that shot as things really opened up for Orlando City B.
Bounces to Fenlison.
Great pass along the top of the box, and yeah, if he lets that go right away, I think he's got a good opportunity on goal. But instead, it's Tosh making that challenge and tackle.
Lancaster continuing on. Ownby cutting it across. Just wide, and Louisville's potential shutout still remains a possibility. They have yet to be shut out at Slugger Field this year.
And for me, Ownby's got to let this go right there. Boom, just like Cox did in the first half to the far post, and you get a goal. But instead, he's trying to cut it back in, and you know, you do see a player in the box there, but when you have that much space inside the box and you're down 3-0, you have to test Fenlison a little bit more than that. As you see Ownby coming in, he's just trying to slot that one to the top of the box. Too many white jerseys, and in fact, it was almost another own goal.
Fenlison kicks it out. Fenlison last started on June 14th against Toronto FC2, fell a goal to nil. This is just his third start with Orlando City B over the last 2 years. And he's looking for his first shutout, and just his second career USL win. Comes all the way back to Reynolds. Popped up, Ownby, right to Fenlison, whose first shutout may well be sitting in his grip. Coming up after the game, we'll wrap this one up and look ahead to the home match next weekend against Charleston Battery, who fell tonight. As 1 through 5 failed to make any ground on Louisville City. #1 team in the East, at least for another handful of days. The game's in hand. Reynolds. Schweitzer trying to keep Lancaster away. Fired by Jimenez. This may be it for Orlando City B.
No, Jimenez just teased that one up, but he's had a lot of opportunities on goal from outside and right around the 18-yard box, but just unable to find the goal tonight.
And that's full time. Mission accomplished for Orlando City B. The 8th team in the East solidify their position in the playoff picture for the week. Louisville does not lose ground atop the Eastern Conference, but they do fall tonight. 3-0 to Orlando City B. 2 goals for Cox, 1 for Timbo. And given that they're 1-8 right now, who knows, maybe this is a matchup we see here again in October.
And one they might not want to have in October in Louisville based on the performance tonight.
Well, they gave a good effort, hit the post, hit the crossbar. James O'Connor against his former club, falling short here tonight. As Michael Cox has 2 fantastic goals. They'll knock off Louisville City. We'll wrap it up when we return. Lou City falls to OCB, 3-0.
Life is easy here, and now you can make it even easier with a home equity line of credit from Republic Bank. Even if your mortgage isn't with us, you can get a below-prime 2.99% APR 6-month introductory fixed interest rate with an ongoing variable rate thereafter and no closing costs. Pay off higher loan rates, manage unexpected expenses, or make a home improvement or two. Stop by your nearest Republic Banking Center and talk to an associate today. We're Republic Bank, and it's just easier here.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Pizza, beer, sports. A great combination. Join other sports fans at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House in Louisville, where you'll find what Food Network says is the best pizza in Kentucky. Incredible game day and social hour specials starting at just $2. With an award-winning menu and one of city's best local craft beer list. Just one bite, and we know you'll love it so much, you'll come back time and time again at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House, your social sports destination.
Full-time fans unhappy tonight at Slugger Field. A 5-0 win in the midweek to open the homestand, a 3-0 loss tonight. And yet if they find 3 points against Charleston in the next game on Saturday next week, I would argue it's a good homestand for Louisville City. So a lot to look forward to here. Meanwhile, look back at the full-time highlights as Orlando City B jumps in front at the quarter-hour mark. Michael Cox, hadn't heard from him in a while.
No, we haven't, but he came out and just put on the Jets there, and what a beautiful shot there to the far post, 1-0. Does the same from the other side of the pitch this time with the left foot and just rockets this one past Ranjit Singh, 2-0 at the half.
After 27 minutes, the header by McCabe as good a look as they had in the first half.
Yeah, it was, and all those corner kicks that they had, unable to execute, and then the first corner kick for Orlando City B, and it is Timbo with his second goal of the year to shock Louisville City.
And there it was, 53rd minute, all of a sudden a chance to maybe pull within one. It was suddenly 3-0. Fenlison getting a touch to this. It deflected from Davis.
Yeah, a few deflections, almost an own goal a couple of times tonight, fortunately. And, you know, they just couldn't do it. And there were the post, a crossbar as well, as that was a bend giving that ball across for Cameron Lancaster. And here is another opportunity that Fenlison has to go up, and it's a bend getting on the end of this one. So one of those nights.
Davis winding it across, that off the crossbar, the bicycle by a bend, not there either.
Yeah, that's just, you know it's not your night when you're rattling them off the post like that, and it just doesn't have the angle to go in.
Carroll, that was almost his second goal of the year.
That was one of the best chances and one of the best saves of the night for sure by Fenlison.
And then at the end, it got a little chippy. If this reaches a playoff game, this will be remembered.
Yeah, it will be, as tempers do flare, and tough game for Louisville City, and it showed that.
In total, 5 yellow cards, including a couple after that fact in the final minutes. 19 shots, multiple balls, either off the crossbar or off the post. Not Louisville City's night for Orlando City B. 5 shots on target, well taken. Cox fantastic. This is a result that OCB earned.
Yeah, they certainly did. You go on the road, and especially to Louisville City, and to play there and to come out 3-0, that is a picture-perfect result for you to go on the road and get the full 3 points. I'm sure they would have been happy to come out of there with a draw and take a point and continue the unbeaten streak, but to get the full 3 points is well done from OCB.
Win number 6 on the year away from home for OCB. Tonight's save of the game is brought to you by MagnaWave, the leader in pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Fenlison, this could have made it 2-1.
Yeah, it could have, as a bend gets up there, and Fenlison just doesn't know if it's going to go in or not. He's not going to take any breaks. He gets that palm up and just directs that over the crossbar.
Pro shutout number 1, stepping in for Earl Edwards Jr. in his third start. Well done by him. Meanwhile, our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey. The USL continues to encourage fans to donate to the American Red Cross to help with the recovery at 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation to the American Red Cross tonight. Meanwhile, the next game for Louisville City, you got to bounce back quickly because Charleston's coming next at that special time, 5 p.m. on WBNA.
Yeah, both teams, again, coming off losses now this weekend where the top teams all got upset, and so both looking to get back into the win column heading down the stretch.
Why watch with us when you can be there? Tickets are available at LouisCityFC.com. Michael Cox, 2 goals. He hadn't scored all year. 2 fantastic finishes. OCB, the 8th team in the East, knocks off Louisville City, who stay in first despite the loss tonight. For Lee Godfrey, director Claudio Tellicher, Brian Duvall producing, Brad Canfield. It's Mike Watts saying so long from Slugger Field. Orlando City B, a fantastic win over Louisville City. Game 2 of the 3-game homestand, not according to plan. It finishes 3-0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.